Welcome to the Buck and Mike Experience,
Experience sports like you never have before.
where the buck stops
And the mic drops.
Bam. See the hesitation there? I
Yeah, a
almost
little
did it.
bit. You're getting better.
It's been
though.
2 weeks, but I did it off memory after a 2-week hiatus. I'm pretty proud of myself there. Well, as you all know, we didn't pop a video last week. Facebook gave me some trouble trying to download the live feed, but we were live for a solid 3.5 hours.
That was.
I will
it was
say,
fun.
It was fun.
It was fun.
But hosting a radio show, I don't know if I could ever get in on that life. Because, my goodness, making sure you're filling dead air can be. Whew. Then we had the damn dog getting in the way.
Luckily, I'm filled with draft information.
This is
so
true.
I was
You were
a- I
able to
was-
drop nugget bombs for sure. So, but it was fun. Definitely something we're gonna. If it keeps happening as a future endeavor as things grow, we'll have to maybe work on cameraing types.
Yeah.
So we can,
Yeah.
actually do better feedbacking, because we definitely realized like an hour left in the draft that there were 3 different chat groups going on, and one that we didn't even know people were just firing questions away. By the end, we were like, "Hey, we'll
It's
answer
one
all
that I
these next
accidentally
week."
made.
Yeah, we were like,
Didn't
"We'll
realize it.
get back to you guys, and thank y'all for being a part of it." So, thanks guys like let's see, Chris Johnson, Justin Reed, Ryan Beach. Those are a few. Cheyenne
Josh
was in there.
Simons.
Josh Simons.
Dustin Dubose.
Yeah, everyone that
my
got
buddy
involved.
Tony Griffin.
Yeah, thank y'all for being a part of it. Thanks for engaging. Like, it's doing something like that's going to be literally even harder if you don't have engagement.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
then and hopefully we can keep doing stuff and finding ways to do that. And who knows, as the season gets here, maybe we find ways to do things for Sunday night football games and stuff like that. We'll figure it out as we
That'd
get
be
closer
interesting
to
to
time.
do too. Yeah.
Do some fun things opened
Yeah.
up. So definitely not preseason games,
Yeah.
because even season football fans don't watch preseason games. But other than that,
Yeah.
how's your 2 weeks been?
It's better now.
Yeah.
My house is cold now,
Hey,
so
cold before it
feels
gets
great.
hot. Good
Yeah.
timing.
Yeah, I mean, the AC went out at the perfect time. So, like,
True.
I didn't have AC for over a week, but the weather was nice enough to where I just lifted up the windows and just let the cool air in. Like, and
Yeah.
that was all I needed. You know, I grew up that way, so it wasn't like it was a difficult thing.
Throw Will's Point Live for the
Elmo.
Elmo. My bad.
No.
No,
No,
yeah.
but yeah. So the draft, man, I ended up doing pretty well with my grade, and which I'm very happy about. I was in the 12th grouping or 15th grouping. I already forgot. I was in the 15th grouping, so tied for 15th with a group of people. If you go to the Huddle Report, you'll see number 30 there, or 33. And basically what that is that's the first person, that's how many, the people. So it's just the first person in that grouping. That's what number that person is 33, but it's the 15th grouping. Which I thought was really good. I got 38 out of 93, 6 matches, which ended up being just a little under 41% correct. So, like, I was,
Awesome.
I mean, I was right there. But with that being said, I do want to talk about some of the more interesting, I would say, winners and losers of the draft.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to start with the losers first, just because I think we kind of know who the winners are team-wise. But one of the losers that it's a little unfair to call them a loser, but it's also not unfair because their first pick was a kicker. Going with the 49ers as one of the losers. Like, your first pick in the second round or third round?
Third round. 90, no, they traded up and picked someone.
They
And
traded
then
up to pick a kicker.
Did they really? I thought
Yes.
they picked the kicker
No,
second.
they traded up to get the kicker.
Huh.
So their first pick was a kicker.
Hey, you know what? The Bengals will tell you that drafting a kicker matters.
I'm sure they will.
I'm just saying, the
I
Bengals will tell you.
I bet the Raiders would tell you that too, wouldn't they, with Sebastian Janikowski?
Yeah, if you pick the right kicker in the draft, there's a set that says that you could pay that man and keep him for 20 years.
Yeah, what about the Buccaneers with
Sometimes it doesn't work.
whatever his name was. I already forgot his name because he didn't even last a full year.
Wasn't the kid that's the Falcons kicker?
Gallo or something like that.
Wasn't the kicker that the Falcons kicker was drafted by someone?
Koo?
Yeah, Younghoe Koo was drafted, totally bombed, gets cut, then
I don't
ends up
think he was
picking up with the
drafted high.
Falcons. Still drafted. He's a kicker. Getting drafted.
Yeah, but third round is high. Like anything above the day 2 to me is high for a kicker or a punter, especially a punter, but a kicker for sure. But I have to say, to me, it's the 49ers just because of that's who your first pick was. And then looking at your team needs, you needed a third receiver, you needed a guard, you needed a tackle, you needed a linebacker, and you needed a cornerback. So what did you do? You picked a safety, a kicker, and a tight end. Those were your top 3 picks.
I mean, hey, you just gotta.
Like
49ers.
you address nothing because you also have Zane Gonzalez as your kicker already. So you already have a kicker that did well for the Panthers last year.
I didn't even realize they signed Zane Gonzalez.
And then
really
you draft a kicker in the 3rd round.
Which
so
is
it's just
starter. So you're not keeping Zane Gonzalez now.
Probably not.
I mean,
you can't after you draft a kicker in the 3rd round.
Well, then hopefully the Dolphins get Zane Gonzalez because I'm tired of our kicker.
So that's they're one of the few that I feel like is a loser, and it's tough for me to say that they're a loser just because of how far they had to draft back. But based on what they drafted, it just didn't add up to what they should have done.
Well, I can see that. I mean, if you go to the winner's side, obviously the first winning side is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles or the Philadelphia Georgia Bulldogs because they just keep. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Georgia keeps winning with those players, and they keep doing good. So I don't blame them. I'd pick them too. Then they signed Ricks from Alabama as an undrafted free agent.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which was a steal because that kid easily could have gotten drafted.
Man, there was a lot going on with him.
There was, but I mean, Alabama defensive players genuinely show enough that they could get drafted.
Younghoe Koo was an undrafted free agent.
Was he? I thought he was a drafted. I don't feel as cool about him anymore.
But Philadelphia is, I'm gonna say 1A as a winner, and it's hard to say 1A because it's hard to say that there's a 1B with what they got in the first round, but the Seattle Seahawks.
I was gonna say them.
1B to me.
Directly, not even just the Seahawks. Directly to Geno. Like, not even the Seahawks as a team. That draft literally said, Geno, watch, this is it. Yeah. We gave you money. We're not drafting. You're the next guy. You're it. Here's a solid power threat running back in Charbonnet. Here's a Jackson Smith, who's your 3rd receiver till Lockett's gone, and then he's your 2. And I mean, he might be a better true receiver than DK Metcalf.
They also drafted Anthony Bradford to be the starting left guard, or right guard. Sorry, because Damian Lewis is your left guard. Yeah. Then they drafted a starting nose tackle in Cameron Young. They drafted a starting edge rusher in Derek Hall, and then they drafted Devin Witherspoon. Like, to me, just looking at what they did, they drafted possibly 5 starters with another guy that's going to split time with a starter.
After having, that's not even talking about, with Witherspoon, you said I didn't bring him up, but after having one of what most people call the best draft, like people are already comparing last year's draft to the draft that they had when they landed, Wagner, Russell Wilson, and Richard Sherman, and that literally catapulted them to 2 Super Bowls. One win, 2-2. And they're already saying the Seahawks just had that kind of draft. Then they turn around and have another great draft. It's a damn good time to be a Seahawks fan.
And since my cousin Joey Hunt is the starting... Now, they did draft another center, which I'm not acknowledging because my cousin Joey Hunt is the starting center for them right now. So, as a... somewhat Seahawk fan because my cousin is there, and now because Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is a local guy for us from Rockwall, just right down the road.
Literally, from where we shoot, it is
even more
12 minutes.
of a
so
Seahawk
Jackson
fan.
Smith's home games are 12 minutes from my house.
So that's something that I liked. So Philadelphia and Seattle are 2 big winners. The other winner that I really want to bring up is another team in the same state of the Eagles. Is the Steelers.
Yes, and I was really hoping
had a really good draft.
Their 3rd round pick that they got in Darnell, Washington, I didn't want him to get there. I wanted him in Miami in the second round. I wanted him in Miami in the third round. I was like, guys, we didn't play Gesicki because he didn't block. Now you've got this monster of a man who can block.
Who's basically a sixth lineman on
and
the
he
field.
can catch. And he's fast. Like, he's what we want. Like, go get that guy. And I watched us not pick him, and I liked our picks. I wasn't too upset at the end of the day. But as he kept falling, I was like, can we get him in the fourth? Can we get him in the fourth? Like, can he slide? We've only got so many picks. And then the Steelers got him, and I just was like, damn it, they already have a good tight end.
just kind of deflated you, like,
yes. I was sitting there just like, this is the only reason I was watching the third round, is I wanted that guy.
Now, but I mean, they finally got an offensive lineman or an actual tackle. They finally drafted an offensive tackle in the first round.
Yeah.
So Broderick Jones was massive. Like, that was the best thing possible for them, and that was exactly what they wanted to do. And they still got Joey Porter Jr. In the second round.
Which is a guy that we had talked about while we were on the live. He might not be the big turnover flashy guy, but for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, you've got a flashy turnover guy, and God, I hate him, but Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
But he does have that same mauler mentality like his daddy had. Like, he's a Steeler fit through and through. Like, he's going to come in, he's going to hit you hard in the mouth. Like you said, for him to go there, it was just a great fall.
Yeah.
Like, it really was.
And you knew once he made it out of the first round and the Steelers had that first pick, you knew that was Joey Porter. You knew it.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
And there was rumors
pass
that
on
the
him
Steelers
after
were
that.
turning down, like, teams that were offering what could have been first-round pick stuff next year. And the Steelers were like, no, this is our guy.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like the Steelers had him on the board at the same spot where they picked their tackle. And they were like, no.
We
got 2 first-round grades right here. You cannot have this pick. So,
and then not only that, but they drafted Keanu Benton, who's going to be their starting nose tackle. So, like, they did a really good job.
Yeah.
The one other team that I want to call a loser is a Northern team. And the only reason why I'm calling them a loser is because I just don't know what they're going to do offensively now. And it doesn't make any sense. And that's the Buffalo Bills. So, I like Dalton Kincaid. I'm not upset that they jumped the Cowboys. I didn't want Kincaid. I wanted Mayer. I was upset they didn't get Mayer. I'm not upset about Mazzy, but I was upset that we didn't take Mayer. I'm not upset that we didn't take Nolan Smith either, too. Eels. But the thing that just really kind of makes me question what Buffalo is doing is, are they going to use him as a slot receiver? Because you already have Dawson Knox, who you extended until 2026. Like, you already put pencil to paper, like, this is our tight end.
and
then you drafted another tight end, and
is
last year
he's going to be an offensive weapon. He's not going to block. Like, Knox is going to have to be on the field because you have a bad running game.
Yeah.
Like, your running game is Josh Allen.
And then both of them are basically kind of these slot type tight ends. And then on top of that, you ran the fewest 2 tight end sets in the NFL last year. And now you have 2 top tier tight ends. So one of them has to at least be a slot.
Yeah.
And it's just really a really weird situation just because there were some other things that they could have addressed instead of a second tight end. So I'm only calling them a loser just because the pick didn't really make a lot of sense.
As a
because they
Dolphins
could
fan,
have
I'm
gone
glad they lost.
a few other ways.
Yeah.
And especially with, like, jumping us for Nolan Smith. Like, that would have been a power move. I think that would have been a whole lot better than getting Kincaid. But
yeah,
I get you're wanting Josh Allen to have the best possible outcome. Gabe Davis just isn't doing what you wanted him to do. Khalil Shakir is your receiver 3.
Yeah, and you're still going to have to bank on, I mean, with how you're set up, like, you're still going to bank on getting help from Davis and Shakir. Like, you're going to have to.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you went out and got someone to go behind Diggs. Like, you're still saying it's Diggs, and then it's a tight end.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really have anything else that scares you. You didn't add anything great to the running game. Like, now it's not too late, but, like, they're the team that as soon as everyone says, oh, Dalvin Cook's available, ooh, the Bows. Derrick Henry's
I
available.
keep hearing
The
Miami
Bills.
on that
Oh
one.
yeah, too. Miami
I don't
too,
think
but-
that one's
but-
going to go there because I don't think he'd want to take his brother's spot because James Cook is there.
True. That would make sense. Because right now, though, James Cook and then
Damian Harris.
And Damian Harris. And don't get me wrong, though. Maybe depending on Damian Harris, the problem with Damian Harris is he's an injury guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's a guy that's proven he has to stay healthy because I don't think New England gets rid of him if he can stay healthy because he plays good. He's very Rashad Penny-like.
Yeah.
Like, that's really is. And so, maybe you think we can keep him healthy? I mean, because if so, he is a good running back. James Cook can catch out of the background, or backfield, so maybe that's what opens it up. But I don't like that you already know that Diggs is on edge. Diggs is getting older, and he's kind of made comments that it'd be cool to play with my brother.
Yeah.
It would be cool to, he's made comments that says he wants to get the hell out of Dodge. So, I don't know. I see what you're going with there. I like it because I think it brings them back to the pack. Because if you'd asked me beginning of last season, I tell you the Bills are far and away better than everyone in the division. The Jets just took a leap forward because
Massive.
I think that we didn't see the best version of what Rodgers could have been last year. Rodgers alone moves the needle with the Jets.
I'll say that Jets draft-wise, they're probably losers also.
Yeah, they didn't do much in the draft, but they
drafted
added
a
Aaron Rodgers.
24-year-old defensive end at number
McDonald,
12
right?
in Will McDonald.
Yeah.
Where you already have a 24-year-old or now 25-year-old Jermaine Johnson that you drafted in the first round last year.
Yeah.
So it really didn't make sense to go for another defensive end when you had a few of these other issues that you needed to address
Yeah.
to help Aaron Rodgers out some more offensively, like
But
offensive line getting a little bit stronger.
I would have seen that, the offense, especially because you traded back with the Steelers to let them get Broderick Jones.
Yeah.
Like, you could have used Jones.
No way. Did they?
Yeah, they did the trade. I just read it. It's the only reason I actually remember.
Oh, okay.
Patriots moved up, Steelers moved back and then swapped picks with the Jets to move ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so- No, but I get that. But I still think that we saw how good the Jets were last year with literally the worst quarterback play in the league. Garrett
Yeah.
Wilson is now set to go off. Fantasy
Yeah.
owners, Garrett Wilson is going to be the guy to look at in that second and third round range when you're drafting receivers. Like, he's going to be. You've got... their running game is when Breece Hall comes back. We know he's a good football player as long as he comes back healthy. The Patriots are not a bad roster. They have some questions, but they're not a terrible team compared to other teams, and they're far and away fourth in their own division.
I think they're going to be a lot better this year now that there's an actual offensive coordinator.
And it's
to be an
true,
offensive
but I
coordinator.
still think they're the fourth best team in their division.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there's a crazy series that can fall out though, where 4 teams make the division and make a playoff because that division's stacked. The Dolphins' division is
the
stacked.
NFC East almost did it last year.
Exactly. Like the division, but the problem is the entire AFC is that way. The AFC is so much better than the NFC that if the Eagles just stay healthy and play good football, the Eagles can get to the Super Bowl with just dealing with a bad quarterback situation in the 49ers. I mean, other than that, you don't look at anyone in the NFC and you go, competition. There's the team.
Right.
You look at the NFC and you're like, shit. The AFC, you're just like, shit. Yeah, Pro Bowl quarterback, or all-pro level
everywhere.
quarterback on
Yeah.
3 teams of every division. Like,
Someone posted, it might have just been in some messages, but it was ranking the NFC quarterbacks, and it was Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, and then you started looking at the rest of yours, like, ooh, the rest of them are just kind of,
like
like
you look at
Kyler Murray is even down, and he's dealing with injuries, and he may not be back for a while.
Yeah,
so,
the only division in the AFC that you just look at and you go, is the South, and that's
and they're kind
Bryce
of
Young, super young.
Yeah.
If Anthony Richardson's a hit, super young. Who else do we have in there? I mean, that division's Tannehill's the veteran in the locker room, but they drafted Levis, they drafted Malik Willis. Like, they put young guys there that maybe they can hit, maybe they don't. Maybe you suck and you get Caleb Williams or Drake May next year. Like,
You know what?
and that just makes the AFC even stronger because that's the thing. The AFC teams are going to keep beating up on each other, and they're going to keep landing these top quarterback prospects because they're so bad that they keep high picks.
You want to hear a crazy stat that I found about second-round quarterbacks that are taken in the top 5 picks? There's a better hit rate to get a Pro Bowl quarterback in the second round in the first 5 picks than there is in the top 5 picks in the first round. At least since 1990. So since 1990, you've
Good
got
signs for Will Levis, and
Drew Brees, Kevin Cole, which is one of the losers, Colin Kaepernick, Andy Dalton, Derek Carr, and now Will Levis.
Yeah.
So right now you've only got one loser and one question mark.
Yeah, and it really and truly, like, I mean, that's not. You feel like I understand it's good TV, like to watching side. It's good TV when someone's sliding, but at the same time, yes, they're 21, 22, 24 in some instances.
I was going to say Levis is 24.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like now that I've grown up,
Or
like
23.
they're kids. Like 24, when you've been just leaving college, like you're a kid.
Right.
And
yeah.
so watching him just squeal when someone told him, like, the only reason you go to that is because someone said there's a better than good chance that you're going to do this.
I don't
Would
know if you heard
put
the Titans, but they said that if it wasn't for Skoronski falling to them, they were going to draft Levis in the first round.
Yeah.
That was their whole idea was to draft Levis in the first round.
But they got it. They addressed that need. They
Yeah.
got what is arguably the best offensive lineman in the draft.
Who's going to be playing guard?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
They might have him play
I
tackle.
would
don't
rather,
know.
even if they put him at guard. Like, I understand the positional value says you'd rather a tackle than a guard. Like, I get that. But you know what? I want good football players in the first round. I get we don't want this, we don't want this. I understand the stigma behind running backs. I get that one because of career years and all that. But at the end of the day, as a GM, if I don't draft good football players in round 1, I failed. I want to pick the guy that's going to start for 5, 6, 7, 12, however long he plays for my team.
Speaking of that, Falcons are another winner in my book. Bijan Robinson, adding him to their offense. They already had a really good offense.
I was gonna say they had a good offense. I liked Algier. I don't think that I don't know that Bijan was 100% necessary in a team that needs defense.
It wasn't. No. Massive need on defense. But here's the thing, and it's really weird. So Tyler Algier, basically what I heard was Tyler Algier was a product of the good blocking of the offensive line. So now you have a running back that's an actual, like, legit running back.
Behind good offense.
Behind a really good offensive line. Not only that, but they also drafted Matthew Bergeron from Syracuse, who is known during the draft as the best run blocking lineman in the draft.
I mean, they were stupidly run heavy already.
Yeah, now Desmond Ritter, fantasy wise, I would almost say stay away from London and
I would say
Pitts.
See, I wouldn't stay
this
away
is going
from
to be
Pitts.
run heavy.
It's going to be
Super
run heavy, but Pitts is still the best athlete receiving wise they're going to have, and you've only seen such a small sample size of Ritter that young players tend to check down to safety valves, and I think that's what's going to draw Pitts up. Like, I hate to follow and just chase Pitts to be great, but I think that he's too good to not be able to be a guy. You're going to have that blocking that's going to make the run game scary. So you can't just sit there and drop back. You're going to have to put the extra guy in the box, which is going to open those intermediate, over-the-top, right there hits if you can get them. I just, probably wrong, but I just think that Kyle Pitts is still a guy to have because of how run-heavy they are. Because look how heavy, I look at him a lot like I do Mark Andrews. Look how heavy the running game has been for the Ravens. And then look at what Mark Andrews is able to do because it opens that middle intermediate, quick outsides hits to him.
I think there's a difference in the way that those offenses are run, though, because that's centered around a really good quarterback that can run the ball. That frees something up a little bit differently.
And true, that does change up some of how
That's
it
a little
frees
bit
up,
different on how Andrews gets freed up compared to the way a tight end would for
Ritter got
Falcons.
wheels.
Because, yeah.
But
even in college, Ritter was not that much of a runner.
No,
so,
exactly.
Like, he's going to be I mean, they'll still pass, but I don't know.
He's probably
I feel
a
like
25 attempts a game guy.
Like,
if that.
If I was drafting Pitts, it would be because the other top ones are gone, and I've already loaded my team up with other players.
Yeah.
Like, I think I hate to say it because he's a generational type of player, but he's probably going to be like your second tier tight end. Like, he's more of a tight end 2 now.
I think
just because of the run heavy offense.
Yeah, I think his time with the Falcons will be he's going to be a lot like Njoku, who's got a lot of skill, but he's not. It's just the fit isn't great. So occasionally he'll have a game where you're like, oh damn, like he is that guy.
Like, oh, there he is.
But you never get to build on it, which would suck because I want him to be good, but.
What so? Yeah, enough about that. Let's go ahead and jump over to what's going on in baseball.
Well, I mean, we already talked about the Seahawks being a winner because one of the reasons is because of Jackson Smith. Well, in relation to Jackson Smith, his brother is currently sitting in first place in his division because Jackson's brother is a starting outfielder for the Pirates who, I don't care who you are, if you had the betting line coming into the season, you didn't bet the Pirates are in first and the Cardinals are in last when the Cardinals are coming off a division championship, have a reigning MVP on their team, and added an offensive upgrade at catcher after they lost Molina. But maybe that shows how good Yadier Molina was because the St. Louis Cardinals, with all that talent, are 10-20. 10-20. I'd have told you that the Cardinals are going to be better than the Rangers. They're going to be better than the Yankees, all these teams that are over 500 teams. And no, not happening.
The only team worse than you is the Rockies.
Yeah.
In that division.
In that division. No, not in that division. In that league.
In that league.
The only team worse because the A's are worse than everyone, and then that doesn't even mention
the
that
Royals are
the A's. Yeah, and that changes. You don't even get on the topic of that. The A's are no longer going to be in Oakland. They're about to be in Vegas, and that was done in the most shafting of ways possible, where the owner's like, he basically Kevin Duranted the Oakland fan base. Like, that's what he was doing. He just kept saying, like, we're here for the long run. We're working with the city. He says all the right things, and then he turns around and goes, I signed a lease for going to Vegas. Like, damn, bro. If I'm honest to God, if I'm Oakland fan, one, I'm not an Oakland fan anymore.
Right, yeah.
But two,
definitely switching my allegiances.
If I'm a person of the city of Oakland, I'm out.
I mean, Mark Davis wasn't even a fan of it.
Yeah, the owner of the Raiders in Vegas goes, I get the move. Like, we just moved from Oakland. Like, I can understand you want to move, you want to upgrade. They're going to give us this fancy stadium, but don't do the people that way. Like, and Mark Davis, nobody likes that guy. And he was like, if Mark Davis calls you an asshole, yeah. If Mark Davis calls you an asshole, you're an asshole.
It's almost like if Dan Snyder says you're a terrible person. Like, you're a terrible person if Dan Snyder thinks you're a terrible person.
Yeah, and so it's just sitting there, and you look at it, and you're just like, wow. Like, that's the only reason to talk about the A's. Like, the team sucks. And the reason people don't go and watch is because you don't give them anything to watch. The A's have been this low budget, look what we can do for less money than everyone for the last 25, 30 years. It's shameful for guys like Henderson, Eckstein, or Eckersley that are like Hall of Fame players that were a part of this organization. And you don't see anything come out of there now. Hell, they had a guy go 7 no-hit innings the other day. Nobody talked about it. They're the A's. Yeah. Dude goes 7 perfect innings and no one even knew. You didn't even get an ESPN notification. It's just the A's and nobody cares. And like,
good Lord.
It's insane to me though that you can just, like, the last time someone crapped on a franchise, a fan base as badly as that is literally when the Rams jumped from St. Louis to LA. Like, they just were like, oh, we had a lease, we'll pay you back. Like, it's just insane to me. Like, and now it's going to change. It's going to change the divisions. It's going to change how things happen. Like, you're going to see a bunch of stuff. And now there's whispers of expansion franchises because they're talking about this being as bad as when the Browns went to Baltimore and they gave the Browns back because of how they left. Like, if you could have just left differently, maybe. But to just yank a fan base out from under them when that's what pays your check.
Yeah.
Like, if I lived in Oakland, I would straight up start the boycott of we don't go. Like,
what? I mean,
don't walk into the stadium. Don't buy tickets. Don't do anything.
Is there still a minor league affiliation in Las Vegas?
I'm not sure.
I know the Dodgers back in the day. I know that it's changed since then, but back in the day, the Dodgers affiliation.
They're actually the home to 4 minor league teams.
4? Okay.
The Las Vegas Aviators of the Pacific Coast Minor League, and they also have 2 soccer team now and stuff like that. So
Okay, the Silver. What else are there?
they're minor league baseball. It's just the one. It looks
Just
like they
one.
have a
Aviators.
soccer team, an XFL team is considered minor leagues. That's kind of sad.
Yeah.
And a American hockey
So
minor league team.
the minor league team used to be with the Dodgers, and they used to be called the Las Vegas 51ers.
Okay.
And I know that because back when my dad was alive and I went to go visit him, that was what we would go watch is the Las Vegas 51ers
Yeah.
and watch them go play. You know what? Maybe they wasn't with the Dodgers. Maybe it was with the Diamondbacks.
That would make sense, location-wise.
Yeah,
They
I
try
think
to
it
keep-
was with the Diamondbacks.
Usually a
'cause-
triple
'cause
or double
Area
A
51.
affiliate is not too far. Like the Rangers double A affiliate is like a 45-minute drive, like to
Yeah, Frisco.
Frisco, and
Yeah.
then their triple A affiliate is in Oklahoma City. Like they usually are close enough that if we have to play the we need a guy, he can get to the stadium day of game, basically. So that there's then other things we've seen is Altuve's coming starting to work out again. Good for him, taking that ball to the face at the Classic. But I think biggest direct playing baseball, we have 2 guys that have gone through some crazy ones, I think, injury wise. Bryce Harper came back 2 days ago. He tore his UCL, had Tommy John surgery 160 days ago. Tommy John keeps guys out for like 2 years sometimes. And now he's out here playing in this gigantic arm immobilizer, doing drills at first base and hitting, and had a single today with the freaking arm immobilizer that barely makes it follow through possible.
So they were called the 51s.
51.
Not the 51ers.
Yeah.
But they were the minor league affiliates. So they went from the Las Vegas Stars to the 51s. Wow. Now the Aviators are the AAA affiliate of the New York Mets.
Well, that's illogically that breaks the usually they try to keep them close rule.
So
God.
yeah, so it was the Dodgers.
Was
So
it?
the
Okay.
Las
See,
Vegas
that would've made
51s
sense.
was a minor league affiliate of the Dodgers. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
And so, but the other one that's super cool is Liam Hendricks. Last year finds out he has stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in December. Rumors were that he was probably dealing. He's saying he thinks he was dealing with it during the season. That was part of why he had some struggles pitching last season. Well, he got his clean bill of health Wednesday, and he's already in AAA reporting to duty because this dude said, "I'm kicking cancer's ass, and then I'm going to play baseball." So,
It's a great story.
mad
man.
props.
It's
Like
a great story. You love when
Nobody
when there are
likes-
stories like that.
nobody likes cancer. We understand cancer's part of it. It is. It's part of the world. It's not something that we're ever going to truly get rid of. But to see someone not only beat it, but not let them. I mean, stage 4. Like we're talking, not like, oh, you got a bump that we're going to cut out and let you go. Like we're talking, people get stage 4 and they're like, there's not a lot of time left.
Yeah,
like
that's-
tell your
that's-
loved ones you
that's
love
the end
them.
of the line.
Yeah, and so to see that, conquer that, and then go back to playing major professional sports, like, I don't care if he's terrible. I love that guy now. Like, you can go out there and have an ERA of 9.99 and lose every time you step on the mound. It's kind of like when Alex Smith snapped his leg. As soon as you do it, the Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year award is now your name.
Yeah, it's
Like, and we've seen
it,
other
it should,
guys.
it should be the Alex Smith Award now.
Oh,
Like, that's
100%.
what it should be called.
100%. And we've seen other guys beat cancer and come back. John Lester is a notable one that went on to have a borderline Hall of Fame career after beating cancer in his early years. So props to Liam Hendricks. Other cool things that happened is for our local Texas Rangers, Josh Young gets AL Rookie of the Month. That kid's a stud.
He's a stud, man.
And then after getting awarded it, decides he's going to walk out today and hit 2 more
And two
dingers
more.
while playing Gold Glove defense at third base. So if you don't pay attention to baseball all the time and you live in the Arlington, Texas area, Josh Young is about to be your new like face of Texas Rangers baseball.
Like, I need to lose a little bit more weight so I can put my old Texas Rangers jersey on. It's a small, so it's going to take a little bit of like 20 or 30 more pounds.
No, it's okay. I'm sure they'll sell you a new one.
I'm sure they will, but this one is nice. You know, when I ordered it, it was supposed to have the actual like just iron-on name on the back.
Yeah.
But they actually sent me one with the sewn in.
Oh,
So-
accidents happen.
Yeah, so like I've been like, oh, I have to keep this. Like it's my customized number 16 Delaney jersey, and now I can't fit in it, so it just hangs in my closet. But I'm like, I can't get rid of this thing. One, it has my last name, and two, like this was a mistake that I got for a whole lot cheaper than what it should have been.
Oh, absolutely. You're talking a couple $100 different.
So at that time it was a promotion running, and for that one it was $250, and for the one that I ordered with the iron on was only $100. So I was like, I'm gonna get that one because I got one for me and one for my girlfriend at the time, and so we both had jerseys, because I had to put her last name on it. I put my last name on hers. It was her last name. So I ordered one for both of us. That way, $200 for two jerseys instead of $250 for one.
Yeah.
And then hers came with the iron-on name, and mine came with the one with stitches. I was like,
Godly.
she was like, "Did you really do that?" I'm like, No. Like, I went and looked at my receipt and everything. I was like, "Look, like this is supposed to be iron-on for both of us."
Yeah.
So it's very special to me that it actually accidentally came that way. But yeah, one of these days I'm going to be able to fit back into that so I can go to these Ranger games and root for them again instead of wearing just a regular T-shirt.
Then another local tie that's pretty cool is the AL or the NL Pitcher of the Month was one Clayton Kershaw.
Was it really? Okay.
At 35, is just dealing.
That dude, man.
I'm gonna say I honestly think that he's the greatest lefty pitcher we've ever seen. Like, just I hate to say it because screw Highland Park, but I mean a career 2.47 ERA, only over 2,600 innings, majority of the time playing on a contender. So you're pitching high leverage innings like very regularly. Yeah, he's seen some injury issues over the last few seasons.
Well, you're gonna get that.
But
once
I
you
mean,
get
you're
that
getting
age.
older. You're throwing
Yeah.
those innings. You like I said, 2,600 just regular season innings. That's a lot of innings. Almost 3,000 strikeouts. He's at 28.48 right now, so he needs 152 strikeouts. He's got 41 already.
Okay.
So he probably next season gets 2,000 strikeouts.
I am going to
3,000.
ask you to retract your statement on the best lefty that we've ever seen.
I don't
Because-
know if I can retract it. I don't think he's the best.
The big unit is a lefty also.
I'd still take Clayton Kershaw.
Over Randy Johnson.
I'm taking Clayton Kershaw.
No, you're not.
He's surgical.
No, you're not.
The only thing that I would say that I'll take Randy Johnson is, and I
If
think
you need
part
a
of that
bird
is
to get hit.
that was Randy Johnson had better playoff success, so I'll give you that. But I also want to attribute some of Kershaw's playoff times aren't always on Kershaw. Like, you could tell the signs of fatigue were there, but the coaches left him in because, well, he's Clayton Kershaw. He's our horse.
Mm-hmm.
He can work through it. Sometimes when you're tired, you're tired. But that curveball that he throws, Kershaw's curveball, is, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I remember when he was just throwing gas. Like, when he was a kid, he just threw freaking ridiculously hard. So, seeing him be able to just, one of the best curveballs for sure. But, I mean, yes, Randy Johnson's absolutely a stud, but...
Yeah, I mean, he only has 5 Cy Young awards. He's the all-time leader in strikeouts per 9 innings at 10.6
Okay.
with 4,875 strikeouts.
I need to pull up more Clayton Kershaw numbers. All I had was the ESPN thing. Let me get a real stat listing here. A little baseball reference.
I think Clayton Kershaw is there.
Let's see. He has a triple crown for a pitching triple crown. He has an MVP as a pitcher. He has 3 Cy Youngs. He's a World Series champion.
I don't
He's
care
got
about team stats.
a Gold Glove.
So the World Series champion doesn't mean anything.
5-time
Randy
ERA
Johnson was a
title.
World Series champion.
No, that's true. 5-time ERA title for the single season lowest ERA. So, I mean...
Was he a World Series MVP?
No, he was...
Oh, Randy Johnson was.
Oh, Randy Johnson was a World Series MVP. But was he ever the league's most valuable player? Because
Well, he
pitchers...
was a Cy Young winner in the NL and the AL.
Doesn't matter. Pitchers don't win the MVP. Like, it's a hitter's award. Essentially, it's really set that way. And then pitchers shouldn't win the MVP, in my opinion. They don't play enough games to. But in his 32 starts was enough for the league to say he's the most valuable player we've got. Like, there's good arguments either way. We all know our topic on the GOAT debate. Generations matter. The type of game that we've played, all that kind of stuff changes.
And of course, that's not mentioning the guy that we never actually got to see play, which was Sandy Koufax.
Another Dodger.
So, and I didn't mention him just because you mentioned
that
we've seen.
The thing was, that's true. I did say that I've seen it. The thing with Koufax, they always say is that one, Koufax was always said to be a very weird guy. Like, he's one of those. Like, as soon as he
had something going on, man.
When he gave up baseball, like, they said he basically moved to an island and was like, "Don't talk to me, I'm out." Like, he was just not dealing with people. So I'm trying to look here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-time All-Star, by the way. Just want to make sure I threw that out there. And MVP votes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. He was in the MVP voting with 1 MVP award.
Yeah. Randy Johnson was only a 5-time All-Star.
Yeah.
In the AL. And 5-time in the NL.
Because pitching for 2 teams. Yeah, but here you go. I'll counter your argument there. The entire 15-year career with 1 team.
He also played for the Montreal Expos.
Beat that! Huh? The
Boom.
freaking Expos!
Tiebreaker.
Oh, the team. It's. I bet Montreal fans just hate that the Rays got good because they were so close. If it wasn't for COVID, to having a team again.
Really?
Yeah. So before COVID happened, there was a whole plan in place where the Rays, because attendance was so bad, were gonna be a 50-50 split for home games. They were gonna play half their home games in Montreal, half their home games in Tampa. And then their 82-game road schedule. This was it. Like, it was all the way on track to happen. Then COVID happened. Canada had stricter rules. The Rays got good as hell and went to the freaking COVID World Series and lost. I was at the game. I watched them lose. And turn around and they're like, well, shit, they're good now. We can't go yank a good team out. And then the first team that finally moves goes to Vegas. Like, if I'm Montreal, I'm pissed.
I mean,
like, you just watched the last guy that was ever a part of your organization retire from pro sports, and he wasn't even in baseball.
Brady. Yeah.
So, no, I can't.
And it's crazy with what they produced, because they're the team that brought in Pedro Martinez. They're the team that brought in Randy Johnson. The team that brought in Vladimir Guerrero.
There's so many great baseball players that played in Montreal, and it was just like, yeah, no, we're out. I don't even remember what team, was it the Nationals, right, that ended up taking it? So they hold all their history until someone goes back to Montreal, because that's how, because you don't know, that's how sports history travels, is if you move, like right now, since there's no team in Seattle, the Oklahoma City Thunder have all of Seattle sports history.
So it's only if the team wants to take it.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know that part. I thought it just naturally migrated with the organization.
So they can take it with them, or they can relinquish it and basically start a new tradition.
Most of the time, when a new
team is what the Ravens did with Cleveland. They left it there. They started a new tradition. Like they didn't bring the history.
Well, and I know that most of the time, if a team goes back into the city, they give them it back. Like they'll go, okay.
Well, Tennessee didn't.
This is true. Tennessee did not. Tennessee said, no, we are the Houston Oilers. You cannot be the Houston Texans.
Speaking of, I know this is getting off to another sport again, but
that's what makes the show fun.
They tease that they're going to be bringing some Houston Oilers stuff this year.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So
I hope they
all
do it
it
against
was
the
a teaser
Texans.
video of them dipping a helmet in oil and pulling it up. So
Oh.
that was the teaser.
I hope they do it against the Texans. That'd be great.
Oh man, that would be so.
Such a slap in the face.
That would. Just like
So
this is
petty.
something you'll never have again.
So freaking petty.
But you know, it would be cool. I don't know if the Nationals did it or not. But if there was an expansion team that did go to Montreal, I don't know if the Nationals have it and would relinquish it, or if they just left it there and stayed with their
That's a
own.
good point. I don't know.
So-
Usually, like I know Oklahoma kept the Seattle one, and it because like Macklemore hates the Oklahoma City Thunder because Macklemore is a huge Seattle guy, and so when they took the organization, he was pissed. Like he's one of the loudest celebrities in the room when it comes to get Seattle a team back, and Seattle will get a basketball team again. Seattle is too good of a fan base in all sports to not. They have the best soccer fans in the fucking 50 states. The Seahawks has literally set records for being one of the loudest stadiums in football. Like Seattle will get us a pro foot basketball team again. Heck, they got the Kraken who were playing the Stars. Little segue action here.
Yeah.
Who slid into overtime. The Dallas Stars were up 4-2, 4-1, give up 3 goals in like 58 seconds. Then Otger shakes it off to shut him down for 22 straight saves, and then they lose the game in overtime. So, Stars are down 1 in the hockey world. Who'd have thought we'd got to hockey before we got to basketball?
I know.
Look at
It
us.
was the
Our
segue.
fans, too.
It was the
Like, they're going to be
segue.
so proud of us. But, the Boston Bruins, let's get to that real quick. Because the Boston Bruins were the equivalent of the Steph Curry, KD, Warriors. Like, they were supposed to be the greatest team. Like, they maybe not the greatest team ever assembled, but they were the best regular season team there ever has been. They broke all the winnings records. They did all that stuff. And they didn't even, not only did they lose in the playoffs, they blew a series lead in the first round to a team that's been in the league for 2 years. You're still an expansion franchise at that point.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
It's crazy.
And then that expansion team, like we said, goes to Dallas, home ice, takes home court or home ice back by getting the win in overtime. Props. Like, I've never had a problem with the city of Seattle, except for the fact that it rains all the time there, so I know I couldn't live there because I'd be on suicide watch with all that rain. I don't like rain as it is, and I am not trying to be there dealing with all that, but props to the Kraken. Hopefully the Stars get it back, because if I'm going to root for a hockey team, I've decided I'll root for the Stars because, well, I like their colors. Shouldn't be that guy. Stars and Red Wings, because for some reason I have to keep rooting for the Red Wings as a
So,
kid.
do a segue back over,
Oh.
since we're talking about Canada.
Well, we don't
teams.
talk that much hockey, so there's
Yeah.
our transition back to baseball.
Transition back to baseball. So, the Nationals do own the Expos history,
Okay.
and they just last year they celebrated, or the year before they celebrated the 50th anniversary of the Expos. But they could, in theory, give it back if a team
goes
went
there.
to
And
Montreal.
I think
could.
I think that's what'll happen.
Because
Tennessee
baseball's
is
got
kind
a
of
little bit more of a
history in baseball matters
Yeah.
so much. Like the unwritten rules thing comes into play a lot more in baseball. We're stubborn. Like that's what we are. I'm a ball player. We're always gonna be. And I don't see them not giving it back to them, especially because they've seen their own success since making the move. Tennessee, I can kind of see because, I mean, short of losing by a Super Bowl by 1 yard, they haven't really had much success.
Yeah.
As
there's
the Titans.
not really.
Whereas the
anything.
Nationals are like, we won a World Series and blew it up. Like, I mean, so I would think they give it away, but that goes there. So
And so now segue back to basketball.
yes, because as we slide back into the hoops, we
So-
are in a deep playoff situation, and we've got some.
Here's this segue. How about this? We're gonna use this whole Nationals and Expos thing. So Jordan actually collaborated with the NBA to get the Hornets back to Charlotte.
Correct.
So that whenever
Because
they created the
New
Bobcats,
Orleans Pelicans
And then-
were the New Orleans Hornets, and then they switched to the Pelicans so that Charlotte could drop the Bobcats and become because they were the
So
Bobcats.
they worked all together
before.
to bring that history back. So it's possible for a team like Montreal and
if the right owner takes over the expansion franchise, there's a dollar amount for everything.
Oh.
There is.
Yeah.
They can pay these owners off enough that they'll clear out their history rooms and do all that. But with that continuation in the NBA, because we do have some pretty crazy coolness going on. First things first, Celtics tied the series tonight. They beat the crap out of the Sixers tonight. It's like 121 to 87.
Embiid's back? Let's beat
that
the
was
crap out of
with
him.
the MVP back, Joel Embiid. So that's going to be a good series. I personally have less intrigue in that series than I do some other ones. First things first is the one that's keeping me up at night. Lakers Warriors.
Yeah.
Look, you like we've said before, you love him, you hate him. He's one of the best to ever do it, and he's playing against the best shooter we've ever seen. Steph's game has other things that have come in, that he's got good things that are a part of his game, but when it comes to shooting, Steph's the best shooter that we've ever seen. We watched Steph, Clay, and Jordan Poole all knock down 6 threes in the game the other night. The Lakers had 6 threes as a team, and Anthony Davis was like, no, I'm hanging 30 and getting 23 tonight, 23 boards. And the Lakers end up taking it on the road in are they not in they're not in San Francisco anymore, are they? Are they still in San Francisco, the Warriors? San Francisco, I think.
They still
Yeah,
are.
they're in San
Still got
Francisco.
the Golden Gate
Yeah,
Bridge and
so
everything.
that's going to be a great series, largely because of the Hall of Fame implication. Like, you've got 4 for sure Hall of Famers playing in that game.
Yeah.
In those games, and 3 of them are wearing Golden State uniforms. Because that's right. I've got 3 Golden State
You
Warriors
might
in
as
the
well
Hall
say
of Fame.
5 because Anthony Davis is getting
Only
going to
because
Hall
the
of Fame, 'cause
Basketball Hall of
is
Fame
huge.
is a joke.
Yeah.
But
Or the
better
Naismith.
career.
The Naismith Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Better career, Draymond Green.
Because it's like, to me, it's really weird because there's not an actual like NBA Hall of Fame. It's just the Naismith. So
Yeah, it's just basketball in general, like
you
college,
can be average in
WNBA.
in NBA, but really good in college, and they're like, hey, you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you get in
Like-
for your college hoops game got you in, but you will put your NBA stats in too. Well, no, you sucked in the NBA. Like
Yeah.
Christian Laettner's in, but Christian Laettner doesn't even want to remember that he played in the NBA. So Celtics series is tied up. Nuggets and Suns, that's going to be a good series. I hate the Suns. Denver's up 2 games, but it goes back to Phoenix. I hope they sweep them.
I do too.
I don't like
I do
Durant.
too.
We know
I
I
don't
don't
like
like
Devin
Durant.
Booker.
I really don't like Devin Booker much either. Like, and I really hate that Devin Booker gets like this Kobe Bryant comparison to his game. Like, yeah, he can shoot, but he doesn't play defense like Kobe did.
He
doesn't.
ain't got that mama
He's not that.
mentality.
He's not that leader in the alpha dog. Like, I'll be honest with you, Kobe would have looked at that trade and when they traded for Kevin Durant, and yes, Booker has led the team in points and everything else, but Kobe would have looked at Durant and said, "You gonna be a soft bitch?" Like, that's what he would have done. And Booker's not gonna do that. Booker's gonna go, "I'll give up some shots to that guy." Like, it's not. And so, hopefully the Nuggets take it away, keep going. But the other series that I'm enjoying, it's tied right now, and I hope the injury doesn't hurt it. I love watching Jimmy Butler play basketball.
I knew you were going to
I
point that one out, man.
fucking love
was
that guy.
So good.
I know that Dallas fans aren't a fan of Miami basketball, mostly from Wade.
Well, you know what?
But you know what? Those guys are all gone.
Yeah, this is a different team. So
It's a different team.
It's a lot different than D Wade's Miami.
Yes.
Like,
And
not only that, but Jimmy Butler is a local guy.
this is true.
He's from Tyler.
And he's
Like,
got
so
the Jimmy Butler
that's a Texas boy.
The
right
Jimmy
there.
Butler story, like his backstory is insane.
Yeah.
Like, never met his father, mom abandoned him. There's even a crazy fan theory that he's Michael Jordan's forgotten son. Like, and if you've never seen that video, they kind of look alike. Like, I'm not saying he really
it
is,
does
but
make you kind of question things. You're
there's
like, whoa.
some things that line up. And then when Jimmy Butler gets into playoff Jimmy Butler mode, you watch him play and you're like, shit. And then his
Like, if there was anyone to ever
well,
compare to Jordan and
attitude,
Kobe,
yes.
Like,
Like it's Jimmy,
Jimmy
Butler.
Butler's
He
on
just
that list.
yeah. You look at the stories that came out when he was with the Timberwolves. Like, did you ever hear the stories of that? Where he literally walked in one day because him and Cat don't get along. They do not like each other. Karl Anthony Towns.
Okay.
And one day, while Karl Anthony Towns, a couple other guys are still on, like, this is when the Nuggets first tried to throw it all together with a super team, and Jimmy Butler's on the team. Jimmy Butler wanted out so bad. And he walks into practice, he looks at the coach for scrimmage, and goes, good, I got that guy, and that guy. Calls out all the reserves. Didn't want any starters on his team. And dominates this one-on-one or 5-on-5 scrimmage. Walks off the court screaming, you ain't got shit to do with me, I'm better than you. 5 minutes later, he's on an ESPN interview one-on-one going, yeah, I just dominated the team in practice. Like, the dude, he doesn't care. And so, I don't know. He's a fun to watch. I hope his ankle's okay because they stole game 1 in New York. New York should be walking away with the series just on the basis that Tyler Hero's out because that's your second best player, at least offensively, in Miami. Like, after Jimmy Butler, there's nobody else that's an offensive threat. Adebayo can defend at every level. He's an alright passer. But Jimmy Butler's like, get on my back, I'm hanging 50. It's all mid-ranges and foul shots. Like, it's not like he's doing Steph Curry's 50 where it's 38 shots
That's what I...
19 of them
I think
for
that's
three.
what I like most about him is he reminds me of old school basketball.
Yes,
he reminds me of that.
And I'm so glad he cut those dreads off.
Early 2000s. I'm not going to say 90s, but early 2000s, Jordan... Iverson, all those guys. He reminds me of that era.
And I don't
because he's got the attitude of just...
Yeah, and I don't even hate the Knicks. Like, there's guys I like on the Knicks. I like Jalen Brunson. He's doing better than I thought he would.
He's doing a lot better than I thought he would.
He's very good. I knew he was a good basketball player. I did not expect him to be as good as he's been for the Knicks. I don't know that it carries over the long term because of size, but that's beside the point. Julius Randle's a local kid who's had some ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
He's from McKinney. He's playing damn good basketball. Like, I love this series. I want to see that series go 7 games and Miami walk away with it because I want to see these guys get healthy because if Miami wins, there's a very good chance they could get a Tyler Hero back in the next round. And, man, like, you're getting reserves more playing time right now because of being able to push these, because of the injuries. Like, it would be pretty cool to see them keep pushing on, keep building, and keep making a drive for something.
Yeah. Julius Randle's hurt right now.
He's out hurt too?
Yeah.
So we're seeing tons of injuries in that series. That's what sucks. Like, we're getting limited on the high quality of basketball that grit level that they play is that going to be. So, but so I'm going to transition to one more thing, though, that involves injuries and racing, because there's, like, some investigations going on. It actually is a big deal at my job now, but this weekend is the Derby. Like, I don't know if you pay any attention to horse racing at all.
A little bit.
But the Kentucky Derby is literally one of the biggest traveling events of the year.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge ordeal at my job with hotels and stuff like that. There's been like 4 horses that got injured, so there's some investigations going on at Churchill Downs because of injuries going on to her horses.
Interesting.
But right now, Forte, like Matt Forte, that's the name of the horse. That's their favorite to win it. It's got 3-1 odds. There's not a runaway, like, blow-it-away favorite. Tappet Trice is up there, and Angel Empire. Other than that, there's a lot of 30-1s and 50-1s. Like, if you wanted to go and do some long shot horse betting, like, this year's Derby might be the one to do it. Like, horse racing, I can't remember the name of it. There's a special kind of bet they have that's pretty cool where you can actually go, and if you just pick 4 horses, if they're the first 4 finishing horses, it doesn't matter what they are. As however many people bet on that chain, you get a payout where you can pay like $1 for this bet and win like $1,200 because 75 people or 700 people bet on it and they all bet $1, and it ends up adding up to where you get paid on the odds of how you bet it out. So there's some pretty cool little bets you can learn, and it's legal in Texas.
That's interesting.
Like, you can bet the Derby in Texas.
Oh, I knew that.
One of the few things that us as Texans are allowed to bet on without driving down the road to Louisiana or North Oklahoma, like, until they open it up in Rockwall.
Until they open up in Rockwall.
Mm-hmm. It's coming.
What is?
That
everything that I've heard from people, like, so I used to work in Rockwall, so I had some people that knew people on city councils and things. That, you know that construction that's going on right there off 30?
Mm-hmm.
All right, but y'all don't know where 30 is, but Rockwall, small city outside of Dallas. It's in the eastern side. You cut through Rockwall when you're heading out to get to the Louisiana and places like that. They've been doing all that construction right there on the water. Building that resort.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
What are typically in resorts?
What are typically in resorts?
You see a lot of them in Vegas and casinos. Casino resorts. And they're off the water. And there's a lot of stuff that says that it's all lined up to be built. That the minute Texas green lights legalize gambling,
okay.
It, like there's
They're
already,
not going to that.
No, they're going to.
No, they're not.
There's already voting and lining up to have it set up to where when it gets legalized, because they're 2 or 3 years from building that building. Like it's not near done. Years of construction.
That's tough for me to believe because
I've heard some
like
reports
even in Vegas, buying lottery tickets is illegal. Like you can't buy lottery tickets in Vegas. You have to go to California. You got to go. There's literally a store right on the state line of Nevada and California where you can buy lottery tickets.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it in
Well,
Las Vegas,
if
and that's
you-
one of
you
that's
can't-
that's an FCC like
Geographically,
rule.
you're not allowed to gamble in Texas. But the minute you drive past the Texas line into Louisiana or into Oklahoma, if you have FanDuel on your phone, you can instantly place a bet. You can't even collect your winnings for that bet until you drive back across the line to collect it. But the report is that the way they're building it up is that their goal is to have it built so that when it comes in, it can literally be slid right into production of being a legal casino.
Just knowing how all that works, I don't see how that's possible, because unless you're doing away with lottery, like it's the only way you're going to be able to do it.
Well, the lottery doesn't do what it's supposed to do anyway, because I don't see it funding very many schools.
Yeah, well,
I mean, technically the lottery is supposed to be giving all this money back to the schools, and yet all we see is the lottery keeps growing and the schools keep crapping. So,
well, they probably keep giving it to the big schools.
well, also true.
How do you think Allen affords that big stadium that's
That $1 million stadium that
bigger than the Frisco practice field for the Cowboys?
I will say I watched a football game in that stadium last year, and we did a little bit more of a segue here. Is I rocked my E hat today. It's actually an Eastfield hat, but I'm rocking it for my best friend's daughter plays for Wiley East.
Oh, okay.
Second round of the high school softball playoffs, and I also have a cousin that plays for Mount Vernon High School. And Mount Vernon is a very small town in Texas, like one of our lowest ranked footballs and things. But you want to talk about fans that travel, is that when Mount Vernon played in the 5th round of the state football playoffs at that stadium, they filled the entire side to the point of people standing.
Really?
They shut the entire town down to come support that football team and those boys. Heartbreaking loss, too.
If you want to understand that meaning, think of watching the movie Friday Night Lights and how the whole town shuts down to go watch the football games. That's what it's like.
Like big Texas schools, like you hear about the Allens and all them playing in the other events, but that's not where Texas high school football's at. Like if you want to go and experience Texas high school football, you're going to Gilmer. You're going to Mount Vernon. You're going to
Will's Point. I'm just kidding.
It's really good. You go to these small cities and just watch how the school or the city rallies behind these kids, and it's a joy to watch. I drove all the way out there to watch them to play that game. A heartbreaking loss, but the other team, I want to say it was Brock, was on the other sideline and just as full. Like these schools, graduate a quarter of what some of these big old high schools we talk about all the time get, and they're bringing in great uncles and aunts.
My class was like 130 people in Will's Point.
Yeah, and it's insane the support that you get out of these smaller schools and stuff like that. But I know that really took us all off of the world.
Sports related.
I mean, it is. It's fun to watch.
This is an experience. Though. Remember that.
Yeah, that's our experience. And on the experience, because we've hit on all the sports things, but there's one more thing that we experience, and that's Marvel movies. Are you going this weekend to see it?
Probably.
I'm going. My plan is Sunday morning. If you don't know, the next Guardians of the Galaxy drops this weekend. It actually comes out tomorrow, for the early watch, and if my kid didn't have a doubleheader in softball, I'd have been there tomorrow night.
You know what?
But
we'll see. I might do it tomorrow.
but
See if I can find
everything
something.
that's come out about it has said that it's not only a great movie, but it's the best movie since Endgame. I've heard whispers that Bradley Cooper is going to be nominated for a Best Actor Oscar for voice acting. That's
Wow.
yes, that's never happened before in the history of the Oscars. They're saying
Wow.
that's how good he is in this movie.
I tell you what, I've heard whispers that so Gamora was supposed to die in the last one, but Marvel nixed that. They were like, no, you can't kill her off. They gave him free reign to kill anyone this time.
Yeah, every single one of these cast members has already said this is the last one. This is gonna be. I'm prepared to go in and be on a Iron Man level tear shed. Like when Cap retires it and Iron Man dies. Like if you're a true fan and you get emotion in your game, like you shed man tears, like you did.
Oh yeah.
Just the same tears you shed when Brian splits away from Vin Diesel in Fast 7. Like, the minute they play that song, every man cried. I still cry. I'm tearing up thinking about it. And I know, like, I have league softball Sunday and kids stuff all weekend, but I'm sitting here thinking, if I get there when the movie theater opens, I can watch it Sunday morning, call that my church, and be happy.
I'll tell you, since we're on this topic, did you see the Dune trailer?
I did not.
Have you seen Dune Part 1?
I have not.
Okay.
Is it based off the video game?
It's based off the book, Dune.
Dune. I think
Not
they're
Doom.
Doom.
Not
I
Doom.
was gonna say. I don't know that
Not
one.
Doom. Dune. Yeah, no, it's based off the book by Frank Herbert.
Okay.
So Part 1 came out last year, the year before, somewhere right in that. It's got Peter Parker's girlfriend,
Okay, Zendaya.
Zendaya.
Yeah.
So it's got Zendaya in it. It's got Timothy Chalamet. Part 2 teaser trailer just dropped today, and oh man, it looks good. It looks really good. Like
There's a lot of
Ooh.
good stuff coming this summer.
I was kind of
I'll have to look into that one. I haven't. Me getting into the movie theater is always a guarantee, usually for a Marvel or a Fast and the Furious. Even though the Fast and the Furious, I know they've come down. Like, I'm not gonna act like they haven't backed up some. And I would have been just as happy if they just walked away after the road split in the 7th one.
I mean,
But I'm so
if
invested
gonna
that
be
I'm going.
honest, I would have been happy if they would have just stopped after Tokyo Drift.
Tokyo Drift wasn't even important to the story.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I
It
would have
was
been
a
happy.
spin-off.
Like, I've watched every single one of them. I'm not saying that I haven't, but at the same time, like, they just keep getting even more ridiculous and more ridiculous and more ridiculous, and so
May
far
19th.
away from what the first one even was.
May 19th is the ridiculousness continues, and guess what? I'll be there because
And it's the last one, I believe.
I think it's only going to be in one. I heard whispers that it was a 2-part. No, it is. Okay, it's the second to last installment of the Fast franchise.
Well,
so
never mind.
So which means that this next Fast movie is not going to have their normal Ben saves the day. Like, it's going to end somehow that cliffhangs, and we're never going to freaking year knowing that something's going to happen. People could die, people that they brought back from the dead, because the chick that plays Wonder Woman comes back in this one, and I know I cried when she died, and now she's back. Han's been back, came back in the last one. That was a sad one when he died. Like, that was the only reason that Tokyo Drift was worth watching, is Han dying. Like, really and truly. Like, the rest of the movie was like, and why are we watching this? Like, even when they brought the tie-in to bring the Tokyo Drift guys back in the last movie, they made them all goofy, like, weirdos. It was like, look at us play with rockets. Like, and so, but then the new Spider-Verse movie, did you ever see the first Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yep.
Fantastic. Like, my wife's like, I don't do cartoons. And I'm like, babe, I'm there right now. That's a damn good cartoon. Like,
I'll tell you this.
great
right?
music,
Are
everything.
you a Star Wars fan?
I am.
Okay. Have you seen any of the Star Wars Rebels, Clone Wars, anything like that?
Okay, that
The
is.
animated
I've been
series?
told a ton to watch them, and I have not gotten into those
Watch
yet.
them.
I've heard really good things about them.
So, almost all the people that you're introduced to in like Mandalorian,
Like,
and all these
I'm
films.
behind right now on Mandalorian, the other TV series that just came out. I haven't gotten to watch it yet. It was just about a few months ago.
Boba.
No, I watched
Or
Boba.
Fett.
There was a one about like the troopers or something. I didn't get to watch it. I think it ties into
Bad Batch.
maybe one of those. Yeah. And so I haven't gotten that one yet, but I haven't watched that cartoon series. And I, like you're about to say, like I've heard like watch it. Like it's
Yeah.
super good.
Like you're going to meet all the people. So like Ahsoka Tano,
yeah.
like you're going to meet her and you're going
And
to
there's
discover
tie-in.
so much.
I've heard
about
the
her.
tie-in. Like I know she's Anakin's Padawan.
Yes.
And so you get more depth of Anakin because the thing is that the Jedi Council on the movies never really details how far Anakin gets. Like they
Right,
don't really
right.
tell you that he becomes. He may not have ever made it Jedi Master status, but he made high enough status that he wasn't a Padawan. He had a Padawan.
Yeah.
He was doing his own thing. We just always saw him as Obi-Wan because I thought he was a loose cannon. And so I know that I've heard some really good stuff about needing to dive into that.
So Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels.
Rebels, that one. I haven't watched that one yet.
So
Because I think that one's the one that has to do with that movie that they did where they actually get the plans to the Death Star.
No.
Was
No,
that
that's
not it?
Rogue
Okay.
One.
Rogue
So,
One, which
no.
I like that. That was a good
Alright,
movie.
so Rebels is we got a new movie coming out with Star Wars, and it's going to have some of the characters from Rebels in it.
Okay.
And is it a movie or a TV show? I can't remember. Either way, but they're bringing a lot of these characters to life that Dave Filoni, who is him and Jon Favreau are in charge of Star Wars
Yes.
now, or Star Wars TV and movies.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are in charge now. And Filoni is the one who created Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels and all these animated shows. But there is so much extra depth, so many other characters that you're introduced to, that when you start seeing them in all the movies, you're like, oh my God, I remember him, or I remember her.
Okay.
Like,
so I'll definitely have to give that a look and see.
like it's not. I mean, it's Star Wars, but you're going to look at it as an animated show, and you're going to see that it's kind of kiddish in a way, but you're going to realize that it's not actually kiddish.
Yeah, no,
like it's
totally. Because
it's for all ages. Like you're going to start watching, you're going to go.
I just got
Oh,
to the
man.
point where I need a show of my
Oh.
own to watch. Like I don't have one that I'm watching by myself. The wife and I are in Ted Lasso right now. Oh my God, it's good. Oh my God, it's good. We're like halfway through season 2. It's amazing. One of my favorite shows ever, automatically. Like if you haven't taken the time to watch Ted Lasso yet, get it. Watch it. Find
Don't
the way.
have Apple TV.
It is worth the $10 a month. Like there's nothing else on there, so once I'm done, I'll probably cancel it. But oh my goodness, it's good.
I've heard it's really good.
But like the Flash movie's coming out, I don't like the Ezra Miller, but everything says it's amazing. Like
So-
the reports are that it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, and this is James Gunn. He's using it as a way to clear everything.
This is his
And
reset.
reset
He's
button.
using
It's a
the
reset
That's
button.
the only perk you have in Flash is that he likes to screw with the timeline.
Yeah.
So you can flashpoint it, wipe everything out, forget all the greatness you already had done,
Because you got
and
Michael
start
Keaton
all.
coming back as,
Yeah,
as Batman.
and
Ben
so
Affleck's
that's
going to be in
gonna
there as
be-
Batman. Like there's going to be everything is going to be in there. So
Supergirl,
like,
we get a
perfect
drop for her.
reset.
It's gonna, and so if you're gonna do it, you better clear it all the way out. So I'm glad it's working out. Like I said, I'm not an Ezra Miller fan of the actor, but he's there. You're not getting rid of me. We get another Indiana Jones. Haha, funny. There's some other ones coming throughout the year that got some good stuff. I won't spend all my time in all of them. Book wise, I know you're a book guy. They are doing the prequel to the Hunger Games series.
I saw
which
that. Yeah.
I liked the Hunger Games books. I did it. They're a little teeny. I mean, we all know I have a little bit of a teeny drive to me. So, but I mean, and I think we still have one more Aquaman movie that's coming out. I don't know how it ties into the Flash because I love him as Aquaman. So hopefully they find a way to make it where he gets to stay around.
I would hope so. Like he's the perfect Aquaman.
Oh yeah, he is. He's got the like. If The Rock had long hair 20 years ago, he would have been a great fit too. Like he's got to have that. You know that tannish, brownish, dark skin, the long, big muscles, the hair. Like
Yeah.
he looks the part. Like
Yeah.
be Aquaman. But then again, we had the perfect Superman, and we fired him too.
Yeah, and
So-
I mean, the Flashpoint thing is going to form to where it's going to be a younger Superman.
Yeah,
So
which that
that's-
also
so
could be
it's
good.
actually something that we haven't had
I'll take
because
Zac Efron.
we've had
I'm throwing
the,
it as my dark horse candidate. Zac
we've had the
Efron
young
for
one.
Superman.
or we've had the older
Which I
one.
said that he's in his 30s.
We've never actually had that.
We've never had one that can be the middle, that's established as Superman, but never like prime
Yeah.
Superman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
So
but-
because we've had Smallville,
I love that show.
that was really
That was
good,
a
and
good
then
show.
we got
the
the
Lois
teaser at
versus
the
Superman
very
show that's
end.
on right now is really good. Where Superman is actually a
I
father.
haven't watched that one.
I've
yet.
only watched some. I haven't gotten to catch up all the way, but what I've gotten to watch of it's actually pretty solid. Like the guy that plays him is it Tyler Hoechlin. He does a really good job. Like I like him.
Okay.
It's got this. It's a weird spin off of the idea of what would happen if Lois and Superman had kids.
Okay.
Like they
okay.
have twin boys, and one has powers and one doesn't.
Well,
And so
that's an interesting role.
you're changing it because if you
Yeah.
have twins, like
Okay.
there's a 50-50 shot because they are half Kryptonian. Like, are they gonna get them? And so it's got a cool name. But with that, we've had a good one. I think it's been nice catching up over the last 2 weeks of behind and all that fun stuff. And I don't know if you've got anything else. I think I'm good.
I was trying to search for something else, but it doesn't look like there's much of anything other than Mario's been kicking some serious ass.
the movie.
Yeah.
I've heard really good things. I had some people say they didn't know if they liked the voice for Chris Pratt as Mario, but I haven't watched it yet. My kids were supposed to go last week and see it, and they didn't end up going.
It's based so it is weird because you've got Seth Rogen as someone.
He's Bowser. Isn't he?
Bowser.
Yeah.
So you don't even have a Bowser voice, you have a Seth Rogen voice as so he even said he's not going to mask it. He doesn't do voices. He's doing his voice. So basically you've got two characters that are kind of just using their own voice. And
Which changes their roots, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
We're used to movies changing roots these
and
days.
I mean, you get Ryan Reynolds. You're getting Ryan Reynolds in every single movie. Like Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds, but every other single movie you have Ryan Reynolds in.
Ryan Reynolds.
It's just Ryan Reynolds.
The video game movie that Ryan Reynolds did is one of my favorite movies. It's freaking
Green Lantern?
No, the video game one.
Oh,
Game On or whatever, where
Yeah.
he's a video game guy
Yeah,
that wants to
yeah.
break the rule, and then he pulls out the shield, and then they go to Chris Evans, and he's like, "What?" It's a freaking awesome movie, great cameo drop too.
that is.
But-
Man, I forgot the name of that.
I'll look it up, and I'll probably shout it next week from the mountaintops.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, thanks everyone for
Yeah.
watching.